termites. Look, it's episode 16. We don't have a guest. I think some of you really liked the grand termite coming. He was just here. I'm not doing guests a lot. That was just a thing because he was here and he kept saying, why won't you let me on your Pubcast, whatever it's called. I said, because I don't allow guests. Because I think it's annoying. I mean, if I had to do this for 4 hours a day, I would allow guests, but it's just an hour. We do an hour on stage every night or more, so I don't know why this would be considered guestable. I don't have guests during my, that's what I told him. I go, do I have a guest during the middle of my act? Do I go, oh, look, Ron's over there, come out here, grand termite? No, I don't. He was fun, though, and we had a good time. And a lot of you said he looks like Nick Nolte, which he's fine with. He's even fine with looking like the drunk Nick Nolte. But some of you said he looked like Kenny Rogers, and he goes, now that's just drawing a line because he had a bad facelift and he's dead. And I said, well, those are both true. So that's kind of an insult. I have a bit of a cold. No, it's not COVID. But my ear hurts, and I put hydrogen peroxide in it. Have you ever done that? It's so cool because it bubbles like there's a volcano in your ear. What it's doing is breaking apart the wax. That's right. At least that's what I've been told. I didn't Google it lately. I was just told that. I think my mom told me that. So here we are. It's just us, me and you. The only other guests that will be permitted down the road would be my mom and dad, but I don't know what to talk to them about. I thought about it. Maybe I'll do like a 20-question bullet point thing for them and not tell them. And then they'll just have to answer those questions. And maybe Lewis, because he'd be sad if I didn't let him on at some point. What are we drinking? Well, we have a Bloody Mary. Delicious. With the Charleston Bloody Mary mix. One of my favorite cities in America, Charleston. And I love New Orleans. But here too, look at this. This is Field Day from where? Four Corners Brewery. This is my beer back like they in Milwaukee. Well, at least in Milwaukee. I don't know about the other place in Wisconsin. When you order a Bloody Mary, you just get a baby beer behind it as a present. I said to the lady, oh, I didn't order a beer. She's like, well, honey, that's just free. I'm like, fuck, this is the greatest city in America. Four Corners Brewery, Dallas, Texas. I went there to see what was going on there, and I didn't have much time before the show, and I really couldn't stay and drink because I had a show. So it's a little disappointing that I didn't get to spend more time there, but I liked the people that worked there. They were super nice, and I think I bought that glass. I didn't steal it. I'm honest when I steal. But I usually try to pay. But like the one in Ireland, there was no one to pay. So here's the Grand Termite, Ron, right, bobblehead. And we put Stevie by him because he loves Stevie and he wasn't so hot on the rest of my idols. But people, so talk about getting ahead of the game. What did I tell you when I said out of these four women, who would I follow the most down any road? I said, Dolly, this lady. Now, Tanya for fun, Stevie for spooky, witchy good times, and Cher for all kinds of things because she's super mouthy. I like that. But Dolly, I think, is the wisest. And that's who I would take all advice from, and I would let be my leader. Leader one, leader two, Stevie, leader three, Cher. Stevie and Cher are a tie. Tanya's my fourth leader. I don't know that Tanya's built as a leader. I think she's more of a partier, which is great. You need one in your group. So I have built a wonderful social network here of my idols. We have to throw a few guys in too. I'm going to think on it, think hard. I'd like Ed Harris, the actor, but I don't really think people would get on that bandwagon. And he's married to a woman named Amy Madigan. How weird is that? Now at some point in a bar, somebody said, sometimes they'll say that, are you Amy Madigan? And I thought, do you think I would be telling jokes at the Hoop-de-Hoo if I had Field of Dreams money? If I was married to Ed Harris? Ixnay on the joke game. All right, we're going to cover what are my treats. I don't know. Ron was saying, well, what is this segment? Is it gas station food or is it bad food? I think it should be called bad good food, right? It's bad food. You shouldn't be eating a lot of it, but I find these little treats and then I'm just sharing, okay? Look at this. Old Bay seasoned Virginia peanuts. Now you can get, they're not in the stores, but you can get it online. So for Thanksgiving and the holidays, a little Old Bay spicy peanut. Who doesn't like a spicy peanut? I'm trying not to light the lighter because I know it annoys people, but it goes against my pyro instincts to not light that. Then this. Okay. This is for, I'm doing this for Thanksgiving and Christmas. What are you guys doing? Are you out driving? Are you listening to this while you're driving somewhere you're not supposed to do? Go, be driving. Are you sneaking around termites? Are you going to go to giant things? I'm not, because all of my siblings have thousands of children, and you know what I call those children? Super spreaders. That's right. Aunt Cat ain't going down for my mom's turkey. My parents have opted out. They don't. I think my mom is so happy. All I've done is cook for 50 goddamn years. I don't give a shit if we have it. She's the anti-Martha Stewart. Like, if you can find a lady that would go against everything Martha Stewart stands for, it's my, I'm not making a fucking pie. She's had it. 50 years. I'm done. She says she's retired. So this pandemic is working right into my mom's antisocial, anti-family behavior. I had to go across enemy lines for this. Here's the thing. My family does not like to support Walmart because of how they treat their employees, mostly, and his business practices. And if you've never read a book about Sam Walton, go read about what Sam Walton did and what they do. I can't support it, but occasionally me and my mom, because my dad would literally probably shoot us with a 12-gauge shotgun if he caught us. We sneak across enemy lines for certain things, okay? I did this for the sake of the Pubcast because I heard about it. It's Patti LaBelle's mac and cheese made with cheddar, Monterey, jack cheese, and real butter. And let me tell you right now, I'm gonna drop this just so you can hear how heavy it is. Ready? That's a brick of mac and cheese. Then I had to Google it, and I did. Patti LaBelle stuff. Also, you should go Google George Wallace's joke about Patti LaBelle's pie, her sweet potato pie, because it's so funny, and he goes through all the ingredients of real sweet potato pie, and he doesn't understand why Patti LaBelle's is better. Maybe I'll try to do the joke. I'll try to do it next week. I'll play it next week. George won't get mad. He'll still get money somehow.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We can put it in the show notes. Thank you, Paddles. No. It's a very funny joke. And I screenshot this. Let me find it. So Patti LaBelle's sweet potato pie, which was so popular, apparently. I don't like sweet potatoes, so I didn't get into it, is making an encore. Her sweet potato pie was a smash hit last year for Walmart, WMT, her exclusive retailer. So that's why I had to cross enemy lines, because it's only at Walmart. That's what it looks like, if you're wondering. I'm going to read you the calories, too. Now she's expanding her line to 5 new desserts. So this is for the holidays. Think about this. Berry cobbler, apple cobbler. I'm not a cobbler person. Peach cobbler. Blech. Apple pecan cake. Pecan cake, yeah, we don't need that apple. No. And sweet potato loaf. Is that like a loaf of bread that's sweet potatoes? I don't. What's a sweet potato loaf?
It's like sweet potato pie without the crust.
Pie without the crust. I don't know. Whatever a loaf is, that's all available at Walmart. So I don't like to plug Walmart, but I do enjoy Patti LaBelle. And then just so you get an idea of what's going on, this box I'm holding has servings of 4. So
It's like banana bread.
That's what I just said, Paddles. Like banana bread, except a loaf.
Yeah, I was wrong.
All right. Thank you, Paddles.
No problem.
Paddles does not want to be on camera. For everybody that's going, can we see Paddles? The answer is no.
I don't want
Paddles hates the camera. Paddles won't even speak into a microphone.
No.
Hates it. And you know what? It's nice every once in a while that there's people in the world that don't want that. Because believe me, that would be no one in my immediate family. No one. Every single one of them would grab that mic faster than the next one. The only reason I'm a comedian is because I found it first. If those others had known about it, I'm going to open mic too. I'm funnier than you. And some of them are. 4 servings per, so there's only 4 in a box. Remember that if you're going. Do you remember how much this box was, Paddles?
$8.
$8. So if you want to serve 8 people, you need $16 for your mac and cheese. Calories, 500 per serving. Holy shit. Sodium, 980 milligrams. Yeah. Oh, but there's vitamin D. They list it, and then it says 0. But we didn't need to do that, did we? 0. There's no vitamin D in carbs. 36 grams. Holy shit. But you know what? It's the holidays.
Delicious.
And Patty's pretty. She eats all this shit. She looks good. So there you go. Now, moving on to super important issues. As I said, what did I say about my idols? Who is the wisest? And I said this weeks ago. This lady, Dolly Parton. That's right. And guess what Dolly's doing right now? Guess what she did that is now turning into reality? She's saving the goddamn world. That's right. The world. Just when you thought it wasn't good enough that every baby born in her county gets a book to go home with when they're a baby because of her imagination library, that's true. Dolly gave $1 million plus to Vanderbilt to work on, or as my nephew calls it, Vanderwald, because that's where he'd like to go to school for some reason. I don't even know why a 9-year-old would know that, but he wants to go to Vanderwald. So here's the deal. Dolly helped fund Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine research. In April, she did this. Less than a month after COVID was officially declared a pandemic, Dolly Parton donated $1 million to coronavirus research at Vanderbilt. More than 7 months later, it's been revealed that the legendary performer's donation helped fund the Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, which this week became the second coronavirus vaccine with a stunningly high success rate. Parton's name appears in the preliminary report on the vaccine among sponsors like National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which Anthony Fauci heads, and Emory University. She also donated to Vanderbilt University Medical Center in honor of her friend and Vanderbilt professor of surgery, Dr. Naji Abumrad. That's what it says. Abumrad. A-B-U-M-A-bum-R-A-D. Rad. Abumrad. Abumrad. Probably they don't. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly. It surged since she made her first donation. And then it goes through the donations. Parton recognized the severity of the virus and urged her fans to donate. And her fans, through the COVID-19 Research Fund, raised more than $98,000 of its $250,000 goal. Her gift was first used towards the research for interim COVID-19 treatments while the vaccine was being developed, she said in April on the Today Show. I feel like this was a time for me to open my heart and my hand and try to help, she said in her Today Show appearance. So you know what? I'm not bragging, but I think I chose the wisest person on earth to be my idol. She's getting old, so I hope she can hang on for a long time. She probably didn't smoke or drink that much, so maybe she'll live a long time. That's what Dolly's up to. Then you want to hear even crazier, ladies and gentlemen? This is where it gets crazy. This is what I love about social media. So I don't know who retweeted. Dolly has, I think, 58 siblings. And one of these days, we're going to talk about Randy Parton. Because, wow, is that a great story. Maybe I'll do it next week. Maybe I'll do it as a Christmas story. It's kind of the anti-Hallmark movie. It didn't turn out well, but it's worth a listen. What Randy Parton did in the Carolinas, I think North Carolina. Somebody on Twitter retweeted Stella Parton, which is Dolly's sister. I don't know if she's older or younger, but Stella tweeted this. My sister Dolly has put her money where her mouth is. Look out. A vaccine is in the way. That's what I think she meant on the way. Yeah. current occupant in the White House wants to make sure he gets credit for what scientists have been working around the clock to create. Follow the science. God bless us all. And I thought, good for her. Because Trumpy apparently wants the vaccine named after him. I'm sure he'd want his picture on the thing too, if you could put a tiny headshot on a vial of a dosage. But I thought, look at Stella defending her sister. That her sister put her money. So I hit follow, and she followed me back. That's what the holiday season's all about. That's what it's about. So, shout out to Stella Parton for defending Dolly, and that's why Dolly gets front and center this week in the candles, because her money is on the way to saving everybody. Now, I also forgot to tell you guys, for Thanksgiving, if you're freaking out, because all I do is call my mom when I'm trying to cook. And it's getting weird now because her cell phone, she claims, uncharges itself. Anybody? Exactly. There's something wrong with the battery, according to her. So then I have to call my dad's phone. Well, he doesn't hear that good, and he has hearing aids. So when he picks up, all I hear is this. I can't even go that high pitched. And then it's an ordeal. So I went to the Butterball turkey. At least in the Midwest, the Butterball's the answer. I don't know about fancy places, but I'm sticking with Butterball. If you go to their website, holy shit, do they make it easy. They even tell you, like, if you have 4 people and this many pounds, how many leftovers would you like? How big of eaters are you? Now, that question needs a little more clarification, because what if you have a super fatty family and they think, we don't eat that much, but really they're super fatties, right? What if you have super skinny people that think, we eat a shitload, but they really don't? So that's a little subjective, I thought, for a question. But all in all, I'm telling you, if you have any questions or you're freaking out and you can't find your parents, or you don't have any parents, or your parents don't cook, go to the Butterball website and let them help you for nothing, for free. It's update time. Did I do my food? Yeah. Oh, shoot, I forgot. The Grand Termite told me I'll do them next. I'll show them to you next week. There's a golfer, Sung Yang. I forgot his last name. Sung Yang. But he was doing really good in the Masters, and on his shirt, or his hat, it said BB Go. And I'm like, what's BB Go? And Rod's like, you don't know what BB Go is? I said, I don't. He goes, they're just the best dumplings in the world. I'm like, you're so weird. How would you fucking know that? He goes, I don't even know how I know it. But you can get them in the grocery store. So I went, and I got some BB Go dumplings, but I forgot to bring them up here. So I'll have to do it next week. Update. Let's get into it. The Michigan militia. Just when you think we heard it all? No. There's some new information in the alleged militia plot against the governor of Michigan. And I will say again, I realize this is not funny. It's not funny to want to attack somebody or kidnap somebody or kill somebody. The funny part within the unfunny, to me, which is what comedy is supposed to be sometimes, is that these people that have these ill thought out plans are ill equipped, and they just reach for the stars. Isn't that what Ed McMahon used to say on Star Search? Reach for the stars. Well, goddamn it. I mean, just the whole thing, we're going to kidnap, extradite her. We're going to extradite her to Wisconsin. How do you know about extradition? You're in the basement of a vacuum repair shop having birthday parties for Hitler. I mean, I can't. Here we go. The 14 men charged had far more violent plans than just a kidnapping, according to federal and state authorities. Now, see, I mean, here's the problem. Why it's not funny is because they would do some of it. But new filings claim there was a plan B the militiamen had drawn up that involved the takeover of the Michigan Capitol building by 200 combatants who would stage a week-long series of televised execution of public officials. Okay, first of all, this says televised, not Facebook Live. Do you really think these people, these 14 dipshit redneck men. Where are you going to get a TV camera? Do you know about 4K? I had to learn about it for Netflix. Do you know how much one of those cameras costs? You don't have that money. You don't even have enough money for a good HD camera. I guarantee it. I saw your meetings. I saw where they were held. There ain't no money there. You have no sponsors. And then once you execute, let's say you executed Gretchen. What other officials do people know in Michigan after the governor? The lieutenant governor? Like, nobody's gonna, well, you'd care, but it's not like these are famous people. And according to the government documents now on file in Lower Michigan Court, there was also a Plan C. Who sat at this meeting and went, I'm good with that. That's right. Let's do some executions on the TV. Plan C, burn down the state house, leaving no survivors. That plan would probably be the most doable, and they made it C. That, if we're going to do what are we really capable of, should have been A. And then B, I guess, kidnap, leave her out in a boat in Lake Michigan. And then extradite her to Wisconsin. I don't know. In southern Wisconsin Wednesday afternoon, the 14th man charged in the plot, Brian Higgins, was closer to extradition to Michigan, even as prosecutors there piled on new, even more outrageous accusations against the men. Higgins appeared from his home for the video court hearing, and then his lawyer said, my client is going to leave this house when this hearing concludes. And unless you tell him otherwise, he's going straight to the sheriff's department to turn himself in, said his attorney, Christopher Van Wagner. Well, good idea, Chris. You should march this jackstraw right down there. Turn yourself in. Start ratting people out. This is ridiculous. The latest accusations include the charged threat that Michigan Gretchen Whitmer was to be kidnapped, possibly killed. Now government court records cite subplots to stage an armed takeover of the state capitol in Lansing and televise the executions of politicians. And, I mean, how many people outside of Michigan can name a politician from Michigan? I know Carl Levin, but he's probably 90. I liked Carl. Dude, you don't know these people. In an interview, Michigan's Attorney General, who's prosecuting some of the militiamen, discussed the domestic terror threat. We're one of the few states that does not ban guns in our state capitol building. Stop right there. I think we've talked about this before. I was astonished when they showed those videos of those people armed to the gills walking into the state capitol. Well, since I was a kid and my dad took me to the state capitol for various reasons, whatever. I didn't even know, because he was a lawyer then. I didn't know why we had to go through an X-ray thing. I'd never seen one in my life. Well, I was 7. I hadn't seen much of my life, but it's the first one I ever saw. Even Missouri, you can't be doing that shit. You can't bring them into courthouses, any place where people could lose their tempers, which would be the state capitol, courthouses where divorces are happening and this and trials and people don't like the outcome. You can't allow firearms in these places. And yet this is where Michigan, and I work everywhere in Michigan. For one, I never would have said Michigan would behave more aggressively poorly than my state, Missouri. And they have. I mean, Missouri, we got our own stupid shit list going on. But these guys we don't have this going on. Maybe because you can't. I don't know. You probably saw pictures back from April where we had armed gunmen. Some of them, same defendants in the case, were hovering over state senators with long guns, screaming and yelling. Yeah, I mean, who the fuck, if I'm a senator, I'm not going down in that pit with these yeehaws on the balcony rim pointing guns at me. Who is in charge? Why don't you vote on that? That's what the next vote should be, bar none. That should be the next vote. Should we allow armed jackstraws in here? No. Yeah, this is why they were discussing legislation and as they were voting. So this remains a big concern to me in a very scary scenario. Yes, said Dana Nessel. That fear bleeds over to Illinois. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker mentioned the Michigan case during Tuesday's COVID-19 update. We have threats that stream into my office daily, and we have watched a kidnapping plot against the Michigan governor unfold just a state away. Despite the violent nature of the charges, including an alleged plan to hold a mock trial for governor of Michigan once she was kidnapped, right? That's when they extradited. They're going to have the trial in Wisconsin. Jesus Christ. Several of the defendants have had bond reductions and are now free. No. Why? What if you're Gretchen? How do you feel now? So some of the Jack Straws that were at the meeting in the vacuum cleaner place are out on... Higgins' attorney suggested in court that he may challenge extradition altogether at Thursday's bond hearing in Wisconsin. I mean, America, this is where we got to get our shit together. I think when Gretchen talks, I feel like I'm in grade school. It's a combination of her slow speech and then the accent, which makes it seem sort of, I don't know, grade school-y. Here in Michigan, there has been a planned attack on me. They were going to take me for a boat ride. Now, that doesn't mean I think she's stupid. I don't. And I don't think that people should be trying to kill her. And I say that, I laugh because I'm incredulous. It's ridiculous that this country anybody that planned that shit, anybody in the vacuum store basement, vacuum repair store, may I add, not just a vacuum store, which I wouldn't know why we had those anymore. Have you been to Best Buy? Their vacuums are awesome. There's just no reason, that doesn't even make sense to me that we still have a vacuum store, B, a vacuum repair store. That's the update. Just when you think these people didn't have, I can't wait till we find plans D, E, and F. What? Update. This is sad times. And I update this because these are my friends. Because I work at the Mirage. And then all the bartenders, a lot of the dealers, because I've been working there for, I don't know, at least 10 years. MGM Resorts adds Mirage and Mandalay Bay. I've stayed there for a corporate gig. Properties to midweek closures. Now, this doesn't mean the casino. I had to read this closely. MGM Resorts announced Friday that it decided to close its Mandalay Bay and the Mirage Hotel properties Monday through Thursday, starting November 30th. The company stated that with the occupancy remaining low during weekdays, temporary closure of hotel operations was necessary. Not all properties are impacted, and other services will remain open during the week. These include restaurants and other amenities. MGM did note the timeline of the hotel closures is not expected to go past something. I forgot that part. I didn't print that part out. But the casinos are still open. The restaurants are still open. It's just the hotel part. But still, that's not a good sign. And this is just, it's not a happy story. It's not a funny story. It's just a shout out to all my buddies in Vegas that they got hit really hard. I'm not going to bitch because I had a good run at comedy, but these people, this is what their living is. And some of them are already going to start being other things. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to mention who, but like some of my friends are like, fuck it, I don't know when this is coming back. I'm just going to go be a something else, a realtor or whatever. So if you want to stay at Mandalay Bay or the Mirage, if you're brave enough to fly or drive or go to Vegas with a mask on, those places would not be open during the week. See, that was a helpful hint, wasn't it? I just saved you 2 Googles, probably. Update. There's another murder hornet. Does that exhaust you, Paddles? It should. Should you be concerned? Yeah, you should. And I know some of you are saying this microphone gets in my way, but then others of you scream at Paddles about the sound. So we can't have both. I can go like that. An Asian giant hornet has been discovered 100 miles north of Seattle as a species invasion of North America continues. This is not good. This is not the same one I read about. One individual species found on November 2nd in the 700 block of Bradner Road. Okay, I don't need to know exactly what house it was found at. Abbots Ford, British Columbia, the Canadian Province Ministry of Agriculture said. So in August of 2019, 3 were found in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. Nanaimo. Thanks, Paddles. Jesus. Well, I've only been to Vancouver like 5 times. And one time they never even let me out of customs for a reason I'll still never know. Still very bitter about that experience.
Is there going to be alcohol at the venue you're performing at?
And then I said, I fucking hope so, or I'm going to have a stroke. And then I was put in the penalty box for cursing. A month later, another one was found in Blaine, Washington, around 50 miles to the east. Now they're north. Here's the deal. They prey on honeybees. Somehow, Western honeybees, the kind that are kept by American people, have no innate defense against the hornets, unlike their Asian counterparts. So there are people who are like, well, why aren't they? And when I say people, I mean me. What's the big deal if they're already in Asia? Because those ones have defense. And I'm just saying, it's like I said about Dolly, trust this lady to save mankind, and it's happening. Keep an eye on the murder hornet situation. If there's 2, there's 12. And I don't mean individuals, I mean hives. And then what happens? I don't know anything about science, as I've said many times, but I can tell you this. If we don't have bees, we're in trouble. Yep, Google that. Trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. Here's something we shouldn't be doing. This isn't really an update. This is more of a, are you shitting me? Are you kidding me? How dumb can we be? I think 2020 has been what we could all define as a shit show. Yeah? Everybody agree with that? Here's the thing. The problem is we can't do anything. So every bit of bad news we hear, which would be normal in any other year, there's bad news, but we don't have any good news really to offset it. So it seems like there's more bad news. But it started out weird, 2020. My parents' dog got hit by a car. That was bad. Then I was in Seattle, and I turned on TV, and Kobe Bryant smashed into a mountain and was dead. Very, like, what the fuck? I don't know Kobe Bryant, whatever. I don't even care about basketball. But you see, like a bizarre, tragic thing. And then the COVID whole situation. Here's something we shouldn't be doing. Here's just a little ancient Egyptian coffin opened for the first time in 2,600 years. No. This is not the year to be opening coffins of Egyptians, which we know they tell you don't. It's bad luck. Do not do that. Well, why don't we do that in a lucky year and then test the gods? Not this year. Archaeologists from Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, pretty proud that I knew what that meant, opened a sealed, roughly 2,600-year-old sarcophagus as a crowd of onlookers watched in anticipation. I would have closed my eyes. If I happened to be there, which why would I be? I would not watch it. Lifting the lid, the researchers revealed a mummy wrapped in an ornate burial linen more than 2 millennia after the individual's internment. The cloth's inscriptions and colorful designs remain intact. Per a statement, the newly unveiled coffin is one of 59 sealed sarcophagi. That's the plural of sarcophagus. Sarcophagi. That's a good Scrabble word. Sarcophagi. Unearthed at the Saqqara necropolis, a sprawling ancient cemetery located south of Cairo in recent months. Found stacked on top of each other in 3 burial shafts of differing depths between 32 and 39 feet. The coffin dates to Egypt's 26th dynasty, which spanned from 664 to 525 BC. Researchers think the wooden containers hold the remains of priests, government officials, and similarly prominent members of ancient Egyptian society. Why would you do this? Somebody needs to stop these people. I'm not a huge superstition person. I'm a minor. Like, somebody told me, if you find a lucky penny, it's only lucky if it's heads up. I say, fuck that. You find money, you got lucky. Even if it's penny. So I'm not like super duper superstitious. I leave that more to my Italian friends. And then they tell me what I'm supposed to be afraid of. Because I don't know. My Irish grandparents just didn't dabble in this. But I do know opening mummies is bad luck. Everybody knows that. It's 2020. Knock it off. That was my Here's a little fun update. 2 updates. I don't usually talk about sports, and we've talked about why. Because people go crazy. People get pissed. I'm telling you, you want to start a shitstorm on Twitter or Facebook, post something about sports. Everybody's got a horrible thing. People are terrible about sports. Mean. Especially if you're a woman posting a sports. And I never really single out the point that I am a woman. But boy, if I post something about sports, it's shut up, you goddamn dumb bitch. Oh, whoa, hey. All I put was I hope Colton Wong signs with the Cardinals. That's why Fred Bird, by the way, is still turned around in protest to the St. Louis Cardinal front office. Pay Colton. That'll get us nowhere fast, but I feel like I said it.
How's your fantasy team doing?
The fantasy football, well, it's going well, except the fantasy app didn't build in COVID players. They didn't build a bench for COVID, which I think is bullshit. They have injured reserve, so if your guy gets hurt, you can put him on there. But they didn't factor in COVID, so there's not enough spots on injured reserve. Like if you have a bunch of Raiders, and somebody explained to me this, like 10 people on the Raiders have it, but they're playing this week. I think there's a lot of lying going on. Not a conspiracy person, but I think they're just going, oh, okay, well, we got other people. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. The college football, too, this team isn't playing, this team is playing, this team says we don't want to play. It's just I don't know. There's a lot of jockeying shit around that I'm sure I'll never understand. But here's some good news from the Miami Marlins, of all people. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Kim, and her last name is NG, made history Friday after the Miami Marlins announced her as the team's next general manager, making her the first woman and the first East Asian American to hold a position in Major League Baseball history. After decades of determination, it is an honor of my career to lead the Miami Marlins as their next general manager, she said in a statement. On Friday, we are building for the long term in South Florida, developing a forward-thinking, collaborative, creative baseball operation made up of incredibly talented and dedicated staff who over the past few years laid a great foundation for success. She brings more than 30 years of experience to the Marlins operation after initially starting out as an intern in 1990. Well, now I was an intern at the St. Louis Blues, and I didn't make it this far. I am not the general manager of the St. Louis Blues hockey organization. Kim's got a little better brain than I do, I'd say. A little bit more determination. She held a combined service of 21 years at the front office for the Chicago White Sox, New York Yankees, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So there you go. That's kind of crazy, right? Are the Marlins even good? I don't even know.
Yeah. They made the World Series almost.
Did they? They made the World Series almost. Yeah. Well, that includes everybody that didn't.
No,
Paddles.
The Dodgers played...
The Dodgers didn't play Miami. No. Well, I hope they're good. And I hope she wins everything except against the Cardinals.
Now I'm thinking about Tampa.
You're thinking about Tampa.
Yeah.
Paddles. Pipe it down until you've Googled Paddles. Now, this is going to cause shit, and I don't even care. I know a lot of you don't care about sports, so I'm going to make it short, and I'm going to make it easy, okay? Because sports to some people is how I feel about science, I think. I need it really easy and short, or I'm going to drift out and I don't care. That's how I feel about it, and math, too. Alex Smith is a quarterback for the Washington Redskins. For a while, he played for the San Francisco 49ers, I believe. Anyway, he ended up in Washington. He had a gruesome injury. Gruesome. And then I watched the thing on, I think it was 30 for 30 on ESPN or E60. They had an hour-plus show about what happened. He fractured both the tibia and the fibula of his right leg. Then you watch the whole deal. He gets infections. They almost cut off his leg. They didn't. By a miracle, I'm trying to get to the, you guys don't need all the stats and all that crap. It doesn't even matter. But he had 17, I believe, surgeries. Let me see if I can find what I know I highlighted it. Yep. Oh, it was ESPN's E60 documentary entitled Project 11. Even if you don't care about sports, check that out because it was just astonishing. Basically, he had like 17 surgeries. It took 2 years. His wife was told, you know, at one point, we're going to have to either cut off his leg or he dies. The amount of, are you kidding me? This is crazy. And he worked his way back to, he got re-signed this summer as a backup. Well, then one guy got hurt, another got hurt. Now he's playing. Everybody says it's the greatest comeback story of ever, which it is if you think coming back is a great idea. I'm here to say that if I was his wife, after 17 surgeries, and you hopping around this house for 2 years, and me having to do all that, the extra work, which I don't mind because I love you. If you're his wife, I assume you do. How about we're not going to do that football thing again? Paddles likes it?
Yeah.
No.
I agree.
Why would you do, why? He got the money. You have the money. And people say, well, that's his dream. Get another dream. I can think of all kinds of dreams. They probably won't come true, but I can make shit up. Like maybe A, B, or C. To risk it after all that, you got your health back. You can walk again. He wasn't supposed to be able to walk. I mean, I don't know. I know people are going to say, you got to let people live their dreams. What about just being a dad? What about being a husband? What about being a walking human? I know I'm going to catch shit for that, but I'm just saying, if it was my husband, we'd have to have quite a chat about why we're going to do this football thing again. Do we not remember the last 2 years of bullshit? Then I'd show him the co-pays. Look at what this cost us. They have tons of money. I'm sure it doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on. That's just my 2 cents because I've never heard anybody say that because I think people are afraid to say it out loud. Everybody says that's what you're just supposed to do. How about after your leg almost gets cut off and you almost die, you're just happy your leg's put back on and go work in the front office? Or why would you risk it? Why? I don't know. Maybe I just value my legs. Maybe I like my legs. Moving on. Conan O'Brien is ending his late night show after 28 years. Conan O'Brien, 57 years old, announced Tuesday that he'll finish his TBS series Conan at the completion of its 10th season in June of 2021. However, he has signed on for a new weekly variety series on HBO Max. No specific details were released about the upcoming show. So, you know, people have asked me in the past, like, you know, who's your favorite late night person? Because I did all these shows. I did Conan's a lot. One time I did it with Dikembe Mutombo. Do you know who that is? He was a basketball player, and he's about 9'11". And just to be funny for myself, I wanted to show my mom. I got my picture made, as they would say in the South. I got my picture made with Dikembe Mutombo, and I don't even come to his waist. It's one of my favorite pictures. I'll find it and show it to you guys on the YouTube. Conan was very nice to stand-ups. As far as putting stand-ups on, I think Conan probably put more stand-ups on than anybody, if I really had to go. And what Conan was very nice about doing, he put a lot of up-and-coming comics. Like, you didn't have to be... He was one of the first credits you could get as far as late night went. And if... I don't know. He just created a... I didn't think... Here's what I did think that was funny on the Conan show was the sketches. I always thought whoever was writing their sketches, they were top-notch. I didn't necessarily think he particularly was that funny, like doing a monologue or interviewing. Smart. He was smart. He is smart. The show, though, I think the strong suit was the thing, and he put a lot of no-name comics on, including me including a lot of my friends, and even up until this day, when I hear the younger comics talk, they say, well, I'm going to try to get on Conan. And then it was, I mean, now it's not even shaped the same way, but like Letterman was Letterman and the Tonight Show were a tie, I'd say, as far as you can't go any higher in late night. And then the rest of them were sparsed around. But I will say, cheers to Conan O'Brien for putting the most stand-ups on that I'm aware of, and I think I'm pretty aware of, any of the late night shows. Letterman, it just got rarer and rarer. Leno did it a lot, but then he went away and, there you go. This is kind of bullshit, and I hope they catch these people. Sacred white spirit moose is killed by hunters in Canada to the outrage of the local indigenous population. Why do you have to do this, people? Just let it go, right? There's 20 bazillion giant moose in Canada. Why do you got to kill the white one? The weird one, the renegade, the spirit moose. I didn't know that. People always say they're spirit animal. They probably never thought about the spirit moose. Here's what happened. There's been a reward offered to find the killers of a white sacred moose. Okay, I read this first sentence. A reward has been offered to find the killers of a sacred white moose shot in northern Canada. My first thought was, did they leave it? They must have, right? They left the moose and somebody found it dead. So you didn't even take the moose as a trophy. You just left it because you were probably scared shitless after you did it. Residents of Timmins in northern Ontario, 430 miles north of
Shania Twain.
Home of Shania Twain, says Paddles. Timmins?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All Canadians know that.
Well, she's kind of a white spirit moose. Shania Twain did the greatest thing ever. The Grey Cup, a lot of Americans probably don't know or care, especially if you don't care about sports, but okay, there's the Super Bowl in America. The Grey Cup is the Super Bowl of Canada for the CFL, which nothing made me laugh harder because they're where they're playing the Grey Cup, we have college stadiums way, 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 way bigger. This looked like a high school game on steroids. Like they had bleachers and there weren't even seats in the end zones. It was just the ground. So it's not, the CFL isn't what the NFL is here, but for the halftime show, how perfect was this? It's snowing, real snow, not made up American TV snow. Shania Twain comes out with sled dogs in a sled, dressed in this white, I'm sure it was faux fur, so nobody got mad. It was just, and it's like a blizzard. And you're like, this is perfect. This is exactly what Canada is supposed to do, and they're doing it on command. Anyway, residents of Timmins in northern Ontario, 430 miles north of Toronto, were shocked when they found the remains of the white moose abandoned by the side of a remote road, CBC reported, saying the animal was discovered at the end of October. The rare animals have been in the region since the 1970s and are a sign of good luck in Indigenous culture. Well, yeah, I would believe them. Why wouldn't you believe what the Native Americans or Native Canadians, or they call them First Nations, if they, you know what, if the Indians tell me something, I will believe it. Why would you do this? Why would you shoot it and you don't even take it? I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it if you're going to do it and then mount it in your secret basement and show your secret friends, look, I shot the spirit moose. People do that shit. But it's just awful. This has long been an understanding that they should be spared from the hunters, and since 2006, it's been illegal under local law to kill them. Maybe I'll give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just saw the moose rack and shot and then got up there and went, shit, it's the spirit moose and we're in trouble. The total reward stands at $8,000. Is that Canadian or American? I'd need to know that before I ratted somebody out. I would demand American. Following contributions from an animal welfare group and a local drilling company, Chief Murray Ray of the Flying Post First Nation said that everyone is outraged and sad following the shooting. If you have a license to shoot a cow moose, you could shoot just another one. Just leave the white ones alone. Exactly. The incident is currently being investigated by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. Though the moose are not albino, as they do not have red eyes, the animals appear white as a result of a similar condition called leucism, a partial loss of pigmentation in the skin and hair, which I also have. So I'm kind of like your spirit comedian. There's a spot on my leg about this big that is whiter than that, if you can believe that. It's a complete lack of pigmentation. Part of my leg just said, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing color. And I used to blame it on my Uncle Dave because he was a pharmacist and sprayed us all with bug spray one evening. And then I noticed it the following morning, and I was convinced that it was the bug spray that did it. And I've since taken the blame off of him and realized that it's just a loss of pigmentation. I also have new ones that are appearing all over my body. So at some point, I will be your spirit comedian, and I will also be invisible. They don't have red eye, partial, blah, 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 blah. There are signs that put up so that people watch out for the white moose. I really hope that people find that they're responsible. They hope we find the people responsible and that they are charged. It's sacred to the Indians and majestic to us. He also put up $1,000 reward for any information leading to the hunter's arrest or that they turn themselves in. They're not going to turn themselves in. No fucking way. Maybe hunters tried to get one moose and got the other by accident. That's what I think happened. Because I don't know why if you're going to kill it on purpose, then you're going to take it. But how are you going to take it? What do they weigh? 2,000 pounds? Yeah. How are you going to get it out? You need a four-wheeler that's super strong. A truck, really. Oh, in 2013, 3 hunters killed a white moose in Nova Scotia, angering local Mi'kmaq people. Micmac. Thank you, Paddles. Mm-hmm. They kept the head as a trophy, but returned the pelt so a multi-day ceremony could be held to honor the animal. Okay. Yeah. Well, just that's not a good story. Let me see if I have a good story. Have you guys been watching The Crown? I binged it all of it. I'm done. I'm so sad it's over. Gillian Anderson plays Margaret Thatcher. And she talks like this the entire time. I don't know how someone would maintain this. Although I've decided I'm only going to speak like this for an entire day and see if I can stay on track. Then I read that Margaret Thatcher, and as a person of Irish descent, I'm not a fan, let's put it that way. Margaret Thatcher, the milk snatcher. Did you ever hear of that one? Yeah, she canceled free milk for kids from 7 to 11 because she wanted to cut spending. I'm kind of done with you right there, lady. But anyway, she actually went to a speech coach, Margaret Thatcher, because her voice was too high-pitched. And so it came out like this. Everything was so laborious, difficult when she speaks. But Gillian Anderson is great. Everybody's great. The whole show is great. I wish it would just go on and on and on. They could even go through generations of people that haven't even existed, and I'd watch it. Who's Prince William's kids? Make that shit up. Just keep going. I would love that. And I told you to watch Queen's Gambit. Also, if you're bored, this movie came out in 2017. If you ever need any World War II or Nazi movie references, you call my dad. Because that's what Jack Madigan's got going on, especially when my mom isn't paying attention. Because my mom is not a fan of any kind of persecution. So she doesn't want to watch his Nazi movies. But he knows I like war movies. I'll be his secret, his little secret. He can call me and I will say, yes, Dad, I'm in. So there's one called The 12th Man. I think I got it on, I don't know, Amazon or Netflix. Amazon, probably. And it's about World War II, the Norwegians, what they do to save one man from the Nazis catching him. And it is fantastic. I made Lewis watch it. It's a true story, because I don't want made up shit when we're talking about, facts. Because that's a big problem that I think we have. What's the definition of insanity? Not being tethered to reality. And that's what I think is happening with the QAnon people and the people that are saying crazy shit because there's no facts anymore. We have to have facts or we're all going to go crazy. Whether the facts are facts you agree with or disagree with, we have to agree on the facts. Now, moving on. This makes me very happy. I am secretly obsessed with Televangelist. Maybe it's not a secret. Have I already expressed that?
Yes.
Have I?
Yeah.
Thank you, Paddles.
No problem.
Well, a lot of people don't know the layers of them. There's one, and she's from St. Louis, Missouri, Fenton, Missouri, that I'm obsessed with. I watch what they do. Her name is Joyce Myers. She has a huge house at the Lake of the Ozarks. They're part of the prosperity people. They have private jets, and I just don't believe in any of that shit. I think it's wrong. Jesus barely had flip-flops. Let's break that down. He didn't have a house. He didn't have a yacht. Certainly didn't have an extra house at a lake. Like, it's just, I find it to be such modern day horse shit that I'm obsessed with. Sometimes I watch them because they work like comedians, especially that Joyce Myers. Like she has an opening bit, and then the middle is kind of whatever, and then a strong closer, and she has spots for her laughs. It's almost hacky too, because I feel like they lift from comedians. I know they do because I've heard them say things that are the very most basic comics of, men like to hold the remote control, and you women like to shop, and that kind of hacky, most common. But they do lift that shit, and then they put it in their little preachy-deachy sermons. But this guy, Kenneth Copeland, you ever heard of him? You may have seen him recently, and he's not nearly as modern as he's older too. I think he's like 90, but he's still going strong. Joyce Myers is probably 65 or something. I don't know. But this guy, Kenneth Copeland, his video went viral last week of him laughing. He said, so Joe Biden was elected president, and then he starts this laugh that is so bananas and crazy. The video went crazy. And his entire congregation is maskless, sitting there laughing also, which we also know is probably not good. Russian hacker group Revil, capital R, capital E, VIL, claims massive attack on televangelist Kenneth Copeland, who responded to Biden's victory with bizarre fake laugh, and threatens to release 1.2 terabytes of sensitive data if he refuses to pay their ransom. Okay, I've never heard of this group. He's 83 years old. I have made him 7 years older than he is. The Russian hacker group, known as Revil, has named his latest victim. They issued a statement saying it had taken over the servers of Kenneth Copeland Ministries. Oh, he's from Texas, a Texas-based international church of the prominent 83-year-old pastor. Absolutely all servers and working computers of the company are hacked and encrypted, the group said in the statement on the dark web, which, as we have all discussed, we don't even know how to get into that. As it turns out, I'm too dumb for the dark web. Because as soon as they start saying what you have to have, I Googled it because I just wanted to see what is it, Well, how do you do it? Well, the instructions alone? No, I'm not doing that. You have to have like other servers and all this shit. I don't know. Anyway, if you go into the dark web, I guess this is where these people live. They released images of a file library purporting to show the stolen data, claiming information include financial documents, contracts, bank documents, sales histories, and emails. Copeland founded the ministry in 1967 and sat on President Donald Trump's Faith Advisory Board. This nut job, along with Paula White, Google that lady. She's the one who summoned all the angels from Africa to defeat Donald Trump. And I guess the angels from Africa got to Philadelphia, and Philly went, nay, angels, nay. And they must have gone back to Africa because that's where oh my God, that's by the way, I forgot. I have this picture. I should read this to you guys. Speaking of Philly, this is okay. My sister-in-law is from Philadelphia, so I have a deep relationship with that city through my brother. They put up a sign, because remember when Rudy went to the wrong Four Seasons? He went to the one where it's between the vibrator and the crematorium, vibrator shop, the porn shop, and the crematorium. They put up, and I can't, you know how they have those official historical signs in Philly, like this is where Benjamin Franklin had his printer shop. This is one of those, but it says Giuliani's Last Stand. On this site, on November 9th, 2020, in front of the garage door of the Four Seasons Total Landscaping, strategically located next to Fantasy Island Adult Books and across the Delaware Valley Cremation Center, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani humiliatingly attempted to discredit the will of the people of the United States with batshit conspiracy theories on behalf of his defeated Orange leader, Donald J. Trump. That's why you gotta love Philly. Mouthy. And Trump said bad things about Philly. He should have never done that. I put that in a tweet a long time ago. Pick the wrong city to fuck with. They'll come get you. And look, they're trolling him. Anyway, so this Copeland jackstraw, Paula White, Google that lady. I'm gonna do her next week because I'm fascinated by her too. This guy. This man, if you Google Kenneth Copeland and watch the video of him going viral, he's worth between $300 million and $760 million. Tax-free, by the way, because it's a religion. I was in the wrong thing. Why did I ever go to the Funny Bone? Why didn't I just open? There used to be a comedian from St. Louis named Ron Ramey, and he was fascinating, and he was like 6 foot tall, black, completely handsome. The running joke was somehow Ron has no material and he can do an hour. He should have been a preacher. I used to tell him that. I go, you buy the tent and the truck, I will drive, sell tickets, and do marketing. Let's do tent shows, revival shows. He was so good at it. And I said, I'll run all the backstage shit. I'll even be the opener. I mean, I don't know religion. I would just have to tell regular jokes. But then you could come up. Because that's where the money's at. Why we wasted our time in improvs and funny bones and climbing our way up, I have no idea. We could have just had a tent. Texas. Revel did not specify their financial demand in the public statement, which was removed, possibly indicating negotiations have been entered with the victim. So they're demanding money or they're going to release this shit. Kenneth Copeland Ministries did not immediately respond. Their signature tactic, encrypting a company's servers, then threatening to release or auction off their data, is an increasingly common scam among ransomware groups. Ransomware groups are indiscriminate in how they choose their victims, blah, blah, blah. That's about it. Ow, my ear hurts. I've had an earache. I'm like a 5-year-old. Who has earaches at my age? I have a fucking earache. There's nothing you can do about it. Copeland has also drawn criticism for statements about the coronavirus pandemic, which he repeatedly claimed had passed or would end soon. In March, the pastor executed, quote, executed judgment on the virus and declared it to be finished while demanding a vaccination come immediately. Well, that didn't work now, did it, Kenneth? I don't know how these people get away with blackmail, but they do, I guess. People pay them. So they say. All right. This is pretty cool. This is a little upbeat thing. Well, wait. This is funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. This is true. Scientists splice human genes into monkey brains to make them bigger and smarter. Okay. How many videos have you guys have seen, like in Thailand and shit, where the monkeys, first of all, they come into town with cigarettes. They're smoking cigarettes. I don't know where they got them. They stole them. They don't have cash. We know that. They don't have Venmo. They don't have phones. Somehow they all got a cig. I love it when there's monkeys smoking. I know it hurts the monkey, but it's just the visual of a monkey smoking a cig. And then they go into towns and they bother people and they get aggressive and they do crazy shit. I don't think monkeys need to be smarter. I think monkeys are super smart, almost borderline dangerously smart at this point. Scientists splice human genes in mice to make them bigger, smarter. What could go wrong? Scientists made monkey brains into double size by splicing them with human genes in a Planet of the Apes style experiment. During the study, Japanese and German researchers injected a gene called, okay, that's 2 of the access powers. Stop experimenting. Just saying that. These 2 groups, stop that. Which directs stem cells in the human brain into the dark matter of the marmoset fetuses, according to a release about the research. They found that the primates' brains soon became more human-like, developing larger, more advanced neocortexes, the area that controls cognition and language, according to the study published by the journal Science in June. According to the images released by the researchers, the modified monkey brains nearly doubled in size at around 100 days into gestation. We found that indeed the neocortex of the common marmoset brain was enlarged and the brain surface folded. Oh my God. It's the newest part of the brain to evolve. Ultimately, scientists opted to abort the monkey fetuses due for unforeseeable consequences. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Unforeseeable consequences. Well, here's the thing. A long time ago, on the road, me and Lewis were somewhere. I have no idea where. I know it was someplace where there wasn't much to do late at night because we went back to the hotel and we were bored. And I was in his room and I'm clicking through the TV and I go, ooh, look at this. And there was a picture of there was a man in a wheelchair, a handsome man, and a monkey that was like flicking him. He was flicking him in the head. And I said, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And Lewis goes, oh, I went to school with him. I said, the monkey? I was trying to be funny. He goes, no, I didn't mean that, Lewis. He goes, because Lou went to Yale Drama School to be a playwright. A lot of people might not know that. And then I kind of made fun of it. I'm like, a playwright? Who still does that, Lewis? Smart people, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this guy went to Yale Drama to be an actor, the man in the wheelchair. And I said, what is this? And this is before Google. This is even before cell phones. He said, oh, this is the movie he was talking about. It's called Monkey Shines. And I said, well, what is this really what you want to watch? And he said, well, no, we can flip over to SportsCenter. I go, no, I don't want to watch SportsCenter because he was doing fantasy baseball at the time. And Jesus Christ, if you ever want to make sure you lose a friend, have him do fantasy baseball. It's all consuming. It's awful. Fantasy football, one thing. Fantasy baseball, you have to, I think at some point Lewis really thought he was the owner of the Mets. I really do. Like, it got to a point where I had to intervene and go, dude, you don't have any friends anymore. You got to stop this. But anyway, so we watched the movie, and I really recommend it. It's like from the 70s, and it's called Monkey Shines. And it's about a helper monkey that goes bad. Okay? He starts out a good helper monkey because the man's a paraplegic. Might have been a quadriplegic. Quad. Yeah, no, I don't remember. Can't remember. I don't think he could move his arms either. Yeah, he couldn't. And the monkey, at first the monkey starts out great. He does a great job. And he seems reasonably happy with his job. And he's from the lab. And then I'm going to get some of the details mixed up. But the monkey starts getting shots. They were doing experiments on the monkey. Well, the monkey goes fucking crazy. And bad things happen. So I'm just saying, in relation to this story, we don't need monkeys being any smarter. We don't need monkeys being able to do more than they can do. It's enough. They're smart enough. And I know a lot of you are bored with it. Maybe not bored, but maybe it's too hard, because it's hard for me. So that's why I'm just projecting that onto you guys. The whole Bitcoin thing. But Ron interrupted me. The Grand Termite interrupted me, and I'm trying to explain it to you guys to see what you guys think in YouTube comments. But I'm going to do it next week because it's a longer conversation, and I've been yakking on about Monkey Shines. You should really seriously find it online. And it's very 70s, like the hair and the clothes, so that's kind of cool too. You get to go through a time thing. Okay, this is cool. Here's what I like. I like the Norwegians from watching the movie The 12th Man. I love the show Vikings on History Channel. Did you guys watch Vikings? Probably one of my favorite all-time things ever. I especially love it when I don't know any of the actors, because then I don't feel like if it was in America and we did Vikings, they'd put Keanu Reeves in there, you know, and it wouldn't seem good. It would just seem like, yeah, you can't. They're all great actors and stuff. This is kind of cool. Norwegian archaeologists have identified a previously undiscovered high-status Viking burial site featuring a feast hall, cult house. I don't know what a cult house is. I'll have to Google that. And the remnants of a ship burial. Researchers were able to discover the findings without having to dig into any land, instead using a ground-penetrating radar. This is so cool. They have pictures. Google the most recent. The vessel is about 62 feet long, and the ship buried, it's buried 4'6" deep beneath the ground's surface. They were doing stuff to build there, and they did these surveys, and then they saw this stuff, and then they caught it. So they have found, they're going to excavate the ship and try to get it in one piece. I mean, that is the Discovery Channel. This is one of the coolest things. One time I was in New York. I was part of the New York Comedy Festival, and the Discovery Channel, how smart is this? Their museum had a Vikings thing, exhibition while the show Vikings was on the History Channel, which is part of the same umbrella, I think, History, Discovery, whatever. The museum had all the Viking shit, so it was great. So it's like, here's how you're going to get people to come to museums if they're watching a show and this stuff is right there. I mean, I would have gone anyway because I'm a freak like that, but a lot of people won't. They'd be bored by that. A little pricey, I thought. Was a lot, like $48. I'm like, oh, I mean, okay, I'll pay it, but that's kind of high, I thought. So this is just super cool, and I don't know what they're going to do with it. What we have to do is use modern technology and use it very carefully. By doing that, we're hoping we can capture something from the ship that we may be able to say something about what type of ship it was. Basically, they're going to get it out. The Vikings had a good, 700-800 year run, and then not so much. Not so much. But you know what? They're really good in the Olympics at cross-country skiing. So they still got that. Norway's still got that going on. And in Lake of the Ozarks in high school, School of the Osage High School, we had an exchange student from Norway. Knut was his name. I don't remember his last name. But I thought, wow, Knut, you were sitting somewhere in Norway and you ended up in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Whew. Shoo, buddy. I don't even know how that shit worked. All right. I think it's time we ended with our mystery. Yeah. It's not really a mystery, but I count it. I put it in the category because I like it. It's a great idea. It's a great story. The tiny Scottish island where arguments are settled with whiskey and cheese. Right.
I like it.
But here's the thing. Like, if we put Biden and Trump on that island, Trumpy doesn't drink. And he likes McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know if that's cheese. I don't know if he'd last. Loch Leven is one of more than 300,000 lochs, which is lake, in Scotland. In many ways, it's completely unremarkable. It isn't the largest lake in the country. Those distinctions go to, I'll say lake instead of loch. Well, I'll say loch. Loch Lomond. Nor is it thought to be home to mythical monsters like Loch Ness. Loch Leven does, however, provide a uniquely and distinctly Scottish venue for settling debates. Commonly known as the Isle of Discussion, a tiny island located a short row from Loch Leven's southern shore. For hundreds of years, arguing members of the MacDonald clan were sent to the island by the clan's chief and had to remain there until their disputes were resolved. So it's sort of like Survivor, except a better ending. I hated that show, Survivor. I fucking hated it. Because all it did was make people do bad things, and then you got rewarded for bad behavior. I'm not saying we should have a show full of saints, but how about which teams work together better rather than you do I just didn't like the concept. I like this concept better. To help the feuding parties come to a swift and peaceful agreement, they were left with a supply of cheese, oat cakes, I don't know what an oat cake is, and Scottish whiskey. When they eventually settled their disputes, the clan member rowed up to the loch where the agreements were drawn up and sealed. Oh, they rode up the loch to the Isle of Covenant, where the agreements were drawn up and sealed. Using alcohol to end arguments might seem counterintuitive, especially if our Thanksgiving dinner tables are anything to go by, but according to some sources, the traditional practice bore surprisingly peaceful returns. In the past 1,500 years, there's been apparently just one homicide in the region. Well, I've been through the Upper Lakes and the Highlands of Scotland because of Lou's birthday. That's what he wanted to do, so we did it. And there's not a lot of people. So I don't know about bragging. Though I would say 1,500 years, only one homicide, that's pretty good. I gotta give him credit, I guess. There are no records detailing which whiskey, I'd like to know which one, played the role of mediator, though likely the source could have been the historic Oban Distillery, OBAN, which is located 30 miles south of Loch Leven. Founded in 1794, Oban is one of Scotland's 6 oldest distilleries. Another potential source of whiskey might be the Ben Nevis Distillery, which lies 20 miles to the north of Loch Leven and was founded in 1825. Well, no, I'm going to say the 94 one, Oban. If you happen to frequent online forums like Reddit, you'll know that modern-day discussions involve at least 2 parties ignoring each other while attempting to prove their expertise on any given proper topic. To many, simply posting on the forum is interpreted online as the equivalent of throwing down your jacket and say, let's take this outside. The thought of taking a discussion to the idyllic Scottish Isle and solving matters over whiskey, cheese, and oatcakes couldn't be more welcoming right now. And I agree. That's where I would like to go. I don't really have any disputes with anyone right now, but if anyone would like to start one, I'd be happy to go to an island and drink whiskey and eat cheese till we figured it out. We could probably figure out a lot of shit that way. Although I do think the whiskey, there'd be some fighting first, but maybe the fist fighting would help get to the bottom of it, right? All right, termites. You guys have a good Thanksgiving. This will be posted before Thanksgiving. I take the notes down so those can be typed up so you can see everything if you wanted references to what I talked about. Don't forget about your Patti LaBelle. Cross enemy lines. I think it's worth it. I do. I feel like a traitor. I hate going into Walmart, but for this, I'll do it. For Patti, I'll cross a line. And I did cross a line. All right, termites. Just me and you again. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you. I have ordered the Madigan's Pubcast t-shirts. And they are long sleeve because it's winter and I like a long sleeve t-shirt. I will try to do short sleeve ones, perhaps for St. Patrick's Day. These are long sleeve and soft, super soft. I hate a crunchy t-shirt. There's nothing I hate worse than a crunchy. I get so excited if there's a cool bar t-shirt and then they hand it to you and it feels like fucking paper mache cardboard crap.
They're going to be available
They're going to be available Black Friday. So there you go, see? You guys asked for it. Mama Termite does it in conjunction with Cindy in San Francisco. Shout out to Cindy Poon, who makes the magic happen. And then the guys in North Carolina who make them. And then they send them out. And Heidi, my friend Heidi, who designed the logo, which I think is one of the coolest logos ever. And then somebody goes, why don't you put your face on there so that I don't know? No. Because Netflix makes us put our headshots on stuff. And sometimes you just want to design something cool. I don't need my goddamn headshot on everything. It's annoying, but I get why people say it. But because then people go, oh, it's that lady I know. This isn't about that. This is just about fun. It's not about contracts and making money and all that shit. Tell your friends just to subscribe to the YouTube channel so we have more termites. I answered a bunch of YouTube things. I will continue to do so. Some of you termites were a little hateful about the grand termite. Not hateful. You were bothered. That's okay. It's all right. You're allowed to. It's a free space here. Say whatever you want. Because really, Mama Termite, I give a shit to an extent. And then I don't. Anyway, it's getting chilly outside. You guys get yourself cozy in your bed. Know that you're a worthy termite. You're a good termite. And I'm going to sign off with what? Night-night termites. Fire! Fire!